Alright, this trip is off to a fantastic start. We had lunch at the Bulldog Saloon at the suggestion of Pete E. from Glacier Chat, he is so nice. He met us at the airport and we didn't get a photo, and we ended up not having time to meet up with him again, so I'm sorry I don't have a video of him, but wow, what a great guy. Thanks, Pete. And after picking up supplies and lunch and whitefish, we're heading into the park. Glacier Chat Forum was a huge help in planning this trip. We're mostly going to go along here, a little bit up here. You might even want to get one of these maps from Hike 734. You definitely want to check out his website. And this video is going to focus on mostly west side of the park and the Going to the Sun Road. More tourist stuff. First we'll check in at the campground and set up our tent. We'll have more details about the Fish Creek campground in another video. And since it stays light out so late, it's 6:45 p.m. and we're going to head towards Logan Pass and see what we can see up there. I'll have separate videos for the backcountry trip and all these different day hikes we take. Didn't take long to run into some wildlife. We had time for a quick look at the Trail of the Cedars. Wow, look at the size of that cedar. Here are definitely some big cedars. That's what I wanted to check out, and just to be in the little rainforest here for a minute. And decided to try and tackle the Hidden Lakes Overlook Trail as well. On Going to the Sun Road, the main road through the park, you want to keep your distance from the other drivers because wildlife might jump out, and use turnouts if you're going slow. Tailgaters just end up frustrated for miles. You can't get around people if they're not going to let you around. Just slow down and enjoy the view. The only reason to stop in the middle of the road is for wildlife, though. You don't want to stop and get hit by somebody coming around a blind corner. Parking is so crazy in the middle of the day, I highly suggest using the shuttle. You can arrive at most of the popular spots after 7 p.m. or by 7 a.m. to get parking, but in the middle of the day, just take the shuttle. We used it in the afternoon. It's pretty good. We parked early on it for our day hikes and then used the shuttle to get around in the afternoon to see more of the park. Now we're at the point where the Highline Trail is running above the road on the left, and we're almost to Logan Pass. Not the greatest light, but that is Birdwoman Falls. So that's a 500-foot waterfall. Next we'll drive past the Weeping Wall. And we're almost to Logan Pass. The two very popular trails, the Hidden Lake Overlook we're about to take and the Highline, originate from Logan Pass up ahead. There's a visitor center with a small gift shop but not much snacks, and what is essentially very clean pit toilets for restrooms. Well, and there's some bighorns. Bighorn sheep and mountain goats are common here, but parking can be difficult in the daytime. Yeah, sunset's closing in on us, but there's still a fair number of people out here. And we're gonna have to cross a little bit of snow. This is unreasonable. We just ran into At Home in Wild Spaces. These guys make some super high quality videos, and they recognized us! Isn't that awesome? Wow! It sure melts fast. I saw pictures just last week. It was covered in ice almost. Already melted though. We got a whole group. Oh, and they are having some fun with each other here. Whole group of bighorns. Right at the Logan Pass parking lot. Here we are the next morning up at the crack of dawn, making sure we get parking for our day hike to Pegan Pass. That's right, grizzly country, and you can see Roxana has hers, I have mine. Go up the last little bit. Yep, we hiked the long way from Sa'i Bend to the Jackson Glacier Overlook. We got a nice look at the glacier, and then we head out to St. Mary. Passing St. Mary Lake. And keep in mind, all of these mountains were carved by glaciers millions of years ago. The tiny glaciers that are rapidly melting today are not the same glaciers that carved the park. St. Mary is where the mountains meet the prairie. The Rocky Mountains are fairly narrow in this area. We're taking the shuttle bus into St. Mary Visitor Center so that I can pick up our backcountry permit. Not much to see. There are services nearby, but they're out of the park across the street. One thing I did note was the flags. Glacier being an international peace park, sharing with Waterton on the Canadian side and bordering the Blackfeet Indian Reservation on the east, flags of all three nations, Canada, USA, and Blackfeet, fly together at St. Mary. Picked up our permit and now we're taking the shuttle back to the rental car. So that's the edge of the Rockies. That's the eastern edge right there.
Yeah, I thought I saw it down there. Looks like it's just a single bed. Wow. Oh, we saw there, Sam.
Shuttle for the win. Shuttle driver even slowed down so we can get a look. Finishing our day with a cold drink at the Rising Sun General Store. This shuttle stop has a motel, a campground, trailheads, all kinds of stuff. Very nice. We'll relax a minute and then catch the next shuttle west. Well, our shuttle bus had a small problem. They whacked that thing. Yeah, well, we gotta wait for another shuttle now. Well, looks like we're hanging around at the St. Mary Falls shuttle stop for a while. Pretty funny, a couple guys decided to try and hitchhike and they actually picked up a ride in 5 minutes. And another family decided to go down and see the falls and they ran into a bear 100 yards away and all came running back because there was a bear, a mama bear and a cub just down the trail there. Too bad we missed it, but it was fun hearing about it and we could hear them yelling. A rescue bus showed up within like 15 minutes. It was no big deal at all. It was a fun adventure. These shuttle systems in the parks all over the place are very good ways to get around. Back in the rental car and we'll head to Lake McDonald. Over here we're gonna try and get dinner at the super nice lodge over here. There's one of these famous red buses, except for now they run on propane. Very nice. Yep, Lake McDonald Lodge. The lake is right on the other side. Pretty cool looking old lodge. Moosehead. Wow, this is a nice place. Sitting on the little patio, having a local beer, waiting for our table. Very nice. And we can get boat tours from here. Yeah, super nice. They got cabins there, and look at that lodge. Super nice. I don't usually do food stuff, but this is duck, elk, and bison. Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. And we lucked out. We came by Apgar Visitor Center to see what's here, and they're having a star party. Some big telescopes. We're going to wait till it gets dark, just kind of rest in the car and go check it out. Up before dawn again, we head north to Polebridge. The road is mostly paved with a little bit of very well graded dirt road for the last bit. Stop for breakfast. They have lots of pastries here. We're in Polebridge, and then we're going to head out into the backcountry next. Those pastries were amazing. The cinnamon roll with apple was like a little apple pie. The last 6 miles to Bowman Lake is a very rough, very narrow dirt road. You have to go super slow and be really careful of crazy people coming the other way too fast. There's a nice beach, picnicking, lots of day use at the foot of Bowman Lake here. There's also a campground, but it's walk up, so the sites go very quickly. And like the rest of the park, the day use parking does fill up early here sometimes. We're going to backpack for 2 nights at the head of Bowman Lake in the backcountry and do some hiking out there. Those will be a couple of really excellent separate videos. Back in Polebridge. Wow, pretty awesome view from here. We didn't really see this the other morning. A little saloon here. We're gonna get lunch. Oh, huckleberry pie. Huckleberries is a big deal around here. And we got a nice view of the mountains from the table. Northern Light Saloon. Had a buffalo bison burger, really good. Roxana had a regular burger, also very good. Yeah, nice view in that direction too. Just a few miles south of Polebridge. We stopped at this place, $7 for a shower. Really nice. The temperature did kind of swing around a lot on the shower, but no timer. $7 right outside of Pulbridge. Really nice when you just come back from hiking. And we'll head back to Fish Creek Campground for one more night in the park. And lots of nice views. Apgar Village is the west side of the park's main tourist area. We're hoping to make it there in time to get some of the famous huckleberry ice cream. The road looks empty, but there sure were a lot of cars coming the other direction. On the road back towards Apgar from Pulbridge, there are a number of these little exhibits, roadside pullouts, and the sign says what looks like a meadow. This is actually called a fen. You can see this little trail is for fishermen to get to the creek that's out there, and it's called a fen. I guess it's a marshy wetland. Not actually a meadow because it's so wet. Sure is beautiful. So there's Eddie's Cafe. We're in a little Apgar village. We might make it back in the daytime tomorrow and give you another look, but yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock at night. There's a huge campground over there. It's all walk-in camping, but it seems like it fills up. Sometimes you might get lucky and get a site if you get here. Like when we showed up on Sunday around 3 p.m. there were still sites, but most of the time it fills up pretty early in the day. Got Eddie's ice cream at 9:59. Got my honkin' huckleberry ice cream. Fantastic. And here's the view just a few yards away. A huckleberry is a lot like a blueberry, in case you don't know. Not a bad way to spend our last night in the park. About 5 after 6 a.m. on our last day in the park here. This is McDonald Creek. This flows out of Lake McDonald. That'll give you an idea of how much water's flowing into it. All of these lakes, lots of little creeks flowing in and big ones flowing out. Yeah, they're calling that McDonald Creek. That sure looks like a river to me. Beautiful. Well, we're out of our campsite. We're gonna go into the Sun Road one more time, and we'll be on our way back to California. 10 after 7 a.m. and we're back at Logan Pass. We've got a few hours before our flight. Well, we've got until the afternoon. Our flight's not till almost 6 o'clock. There they are, sleeping away. That's where we saw them on Monday walking. I guess they live right there. Really glad I brought my binoculars on this trip. And like I said, we arrived 7:10 a.m. It was probably only maybe a little more than a quarter full, almost half full. And it's only 7:30. More than 3/4 full now. Parking, especially here at Logan Pass, has become the biggest issue in the park this summer and for the foreseeable future. It takes an hour to get here from either the west or east side. And that's it. 7:59, parking lot is full. The shuttle avoids the parking problem, but does come with a bathroom line problem. The line clears in a few minutes. So the restroom here is a row of pit toilets all connected together. I guess it's like one giant cesspool. 1 million people are going to use this thing in the month of July, very likely. Pretty crazy. Considering how many people use that restroom, I'm relieved to see that they do pump it out. Yeah, we're sort of the people everybody hates right now. We're just relaxing in the car. We've been here over an hour already. We got all our stuff organized. But you know, it was a lot more fun getting packed with this view. And we had to get a parking space. Yeah, 5 nights, 6 days, 40+ miles hiked. Not a bad time in the park. Couldn't resist one more trip up to the Hidden Lake Overlook. All the hiking gave Roxana some pretty bad blisters, so she sat out this last one. The more popular trails do get fairly crowded. They're still not as bad as some of the other parks, and you know, when stuff is this nice, you're gonna expect to see other people. Gotta love all the mountain goats right along the trail, but you have to stay away from them. They will hurt you if you get too close. The bigger threat around here are the rodents. Notice these girls are keeping their hands up in their sleeves after I told them those chipmunks will bite them. The chipmunks are looking for food, and the girls were reaching out their hands, which look a lot like a peanut to the chipmunk. I'm glad people were figuring out they're fun to watch, but you just cannot feed them or they get aggressive. Okay, back to the views. There's Hidden Lake down there. I'll have more of this in a separate video. On the way down I caught a little bit of a ranger talk about the wildlife. That's a wolverine fur. And what I thought were some clouds was the beginning of smoke rolling in. We got lucky and had perfect weather all week, but here comes the smoke from the forest fires. Most other parks you feel like you're way out there, but you still have jets overhead. In Glacier are very few jets and almost no helicopters, nothing. Right now there's helicopters reminding me of this because of the fire, I guess. Back down going to the Sun Road for one last stop at Apgar. About 12:30 p.m. and here's the Apgar village in the daylight. Crowded. We got one of the last parking spaces. I think this guy over here just got the absolute last parking space. There's lots of gift stores. We're gonna go check out all these gift shops. And then here's the ice cream, the famous ice cream cafe that gets decent reviews, and then there's the lodge, and there's another lodge right along the lake shore. Boat rentals here, all kinds of stuff. Espresso, ice cream, huckleberry ice cream, very good here. And we'll go and take a quick look at the lake. Again, Apgar Village is your main hub. There's a shuttle stop here. Visitor center is nearby. We got a ton of souvenirs, but for Native American stuff, we had to go just outside the park. Montana Fur Traders had all kinds of stuff. Roxana's voice was sharp at this point, but there's my huckleberry syrup. The stuff turns vanilla ice cream into huckleberry ice cream. It's delicious on all kinds of things. I'll mention again, I'm going to do a little short of one of the picnic areas. These parks, they always have a lot of picnic areas. They're a very nice little place to stop and eat at. See something different. I noticed a lot of families come into the national parks and just kind of stay in the campgrounds. Maybe try checking out some picnic areas. Taking a last look from the foot of Lake McDonald before we head out. Pretty cool. A guy just asked me if I was putting this on YouTube and he took my name down. How you doing, buddy? He said he watches My Own Frontier, which I highly recommend. And don't forget Hike 734 for all kinds of basic information. Hike 734 really is the resource for Glacier National Park. My Own Frontier's videos are extended backpacking trips that are just amazing to watch, so you want to see those as well. More than a little sad to leave, but after hiking 40 miles, we don't have the feet or knees or anything left. We need to go home and recover. Another friend recommended Baxlow Brewery in Columbia Falls, which is right on the way to the airport. After the best hamburger, it was time to leave, and it looks like we're leaving just in time. After a week of perfect weather, the fires in Libby to the west of us are creating quite a bit of smoke. Thanks for coming with us, everyone.